Hi, my wonderfully scented people. Welcome back to my world of fragrance. I'm back today with a review of a fragrance from the house of BYREDO. And this is their bestseller, probably the most popular fragrance from BYREDO. You cannot talk about this house without mentioning Bal d'Afrique. So Bal d'Afrique was released in 2009. It was one of the first fragrances from the house of BYREDO. This is a new fragrance house. It's from 2008 and it was founded by Ben Gorham. BYREDO is an interesting niche house to talk about because it is in fact quite widespread. They've had a really big expansion model, and BYREDO is also owned by the company that also owns Diptyque. So you've probably seen this brand in a lot of larger department stores worldwide. And I think that it's worth mentioning that BYREDO seems to be a house that has gained so much success due to their fantastic marketing. So back in 2008, it wasn't very common to see such simplistic, minimal perfume bottles. I really do believe that BYREDO was one of the brands that started this whole trend of having very minimal bottles, like just black and white, simple, clean lines. And this is a house that originates from Stockholm, Sweden. So that really does play into the whole image of the brand and how they are trying to be very trendy and modern and chic. The BYREDO persona is definitely someone that cares about what other people think and wants to portray an image of being stylish. The inspiration behind Bal d'Afrique is everything related to Ben Gorham's memories of memoirs that he would read from his father who had traveled through Africa. And this is kind of like a love letter to Africa and how it's played on European culture in the past, how it's affected dance, music, art, all of these things. And this fragrance makes me think about like a 1930s flapper who is cool and trendy out on a night out and is suddenly dancing to music that has a lot more beats in it and is in many ways leading a life that is a lot more colorful. So as you spray on Bal d'Afrique, you get a lot of bergamot and vetiver in the top. The vetiver is really prominent throughout. Part of BYREDO's ethos, not only in the packaging but also in the interior, the actual juice, is that of simplicity. So the perfumer Jérôme Epinette definitely lets the notes shine on their own, and you know, there aren't a million notes in this fragrance that are trying to compete with one another. So strong vetiver throughout, some marigold and violet and tropical florals that you would find presumably in Africa surround this vetiver and also sweeten the vetiver. This fragrance, from my experience, is worn by a lot of women, but BYREDO does market as unisex. And that clean, modernistic aura that you get from this fragrance is really cool and trendy, you know? BYREDO is a house that you will often see if you look through glossy magazines and look like inside an editor's closet, for example. You'll often see a bottle of BYREDO standing on their vanity, and usually next to a bottle of Tom Ford or Le Labo, depending on which trendy brand this person is into. I remember my very first impression of Bal d'Afrique to be a delightful one, so this is definitely one of the best BYREDOs out there. Projection is great. This is definitely one that is noticeable when sprayed on, and longevity is moderate. This is a fragrance that I would find to be totally unique and wonderful in modern chic and all of the above, if it were not because I had smelled Hermessence Vetiver Tonka first. And I do own that fragrance. Let me get that quickly. Now, Vetiver Tonka was created about 5 years prior by Jean-Claude Ellena for Hermès. And this is the Hermessence private line that they only have at specific Hermès counters and at the Hermès boutiques. So I purchased this in one of those 4-set boxes that they thankfully do for the Hermessence line, because I wasn't entirely ready to splash out all the money for a big bottle of Vetiver Tonka. But Ellena was very inspired by the vetiver note when he created this, and he wanted to do something that was unseen before with vetiver. So he combined it with tonka beans and with tobacco. And this one is, I would say, a more substantial version of Bal d'Afrique, where you have like the clean, smooth elegance, slight lightness in Bal d'Afrique. You have a little bit more substance, a little bit more earthiness from the vetiver, a little bit more bitterness because of that tobacco, and Also, it's a little bit more sweet because there are more gourmand aspects in Vetiver Tonka. It's also a very interesting fragrance. I gravitated towards this fragrance in particular when I was on the search for a vetiver that I could pull off. So before I actually became totally infatuated with vetiver recently, I was trying to find a way that I could wear the vetiver note in a composition that worked for me, and this was the one. This was my one and only vetiver fragrance for a very long time. I'm not sure if I'm going to repurchase this one. I do feel like you could own both Bal d'Afrique and Vetiver Tonka. There are slight differences in them. I feel it's like in the appeal of the fragrances. So this is more heavy duty, whereas this is more breezy, crowd pleasing, modern, simplistic. And Vetiver Tonka, which I have here, just strikes a different type of chord with me. Still very, very similar. So unless you're a crazy person, crazy like myself, I wouldn't necessarily recommend you getting both. But price is definitely a big factor of it. So if that's something that makes a difference to you, then you have your choice. So there you have it, a review of BYREDO's infamous Bal d'Afrique, a vetiver that glistens and dances and is modern chic, stylish, easy to wear for all seasons and all occasions. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review today, guys. Leave your thoughts on Bal d'Afrique down below if you've tried this fragrance, and do you feel that there's similarities to Hermessence Vetiver Tonka? Let me know what other single fragrance reviews you'd like to see out there, and I will see you in my next review.